Good morning, everyone. My name's Nurse McAteer. I am a co-president of the Society of Scottish Artists. This week is Mental Health Awareness Week, and the Society has curated 3 events around mental health. Today, we have Kirsty McAteer, a mental health nurse, here to give us some resources to promote wellbeing. Good morning, Kirsty.
Good morning.
It's lovely to hear from you today.
And you?
I wonder if you could tell us what this event is about.
I'm going to chat a wee bit about wellbeing. Wellbeing is different for everybody. So we all have our own things that make us feel happy, that make us feel sad, things that we do to cope when life's difficult. But what's the same for everybody is that it's made up normally of 5 parts. So those 5 parts being connect, and that's connecting with people, being active, learning, giving to others, and noticing the world around us. So I'll go on to chat a wee bit about those 5 sections after I've gave you a wee kind of introduction about wellbeing and what it is. And as I said, it's different for everybody. Everybody has their own things that work for them, but it's generally made up of the same things. And one of the descriptions of wellbeing that I particularly like, mainly because it's in language that is quite personal to me, I connect with it, I understand it, I don't feel like it's jargon. So the definition I like is comfortable, healthy and happy. And I think most people will connect with that in some way. So the 3 parts, comfortable, healthy and happy. My happiness comes from my work, although I do recognise that not every day and not every hour of every day in my work is a happy thing. Generally, being employed and being part of society and connecting with other people when they're having difficulties does bring me happiness. As most people identify with, family, friends make me happy as well. My other big area of happiness is my rescue bulldog, Holly, who hopefully you won't hear in the background at any point in this today. So that's the happiness part of wellbeing. Healthy, again, healthy means different things to different people. I'm not particularly a big kind of exercise buff. I should do it more often, but I recognise that it's probably not high in my agenda. So the healthy bit for me comes from going walks with my dog. So that's combining 2 things. That's my healthy, getting out, moving, fresh air, sunlight, all those things. Yeah. Plus it brings in my happy of walking my dog. Another thing about well-being is you're comfortable. Again, comfortable means different things to different people, but my comfortable comes from my home. I'm quite a homebody by nature, and I know that's not true of other people, but because it is one of my important factors in my life, I do like it to be the way I like it. And that probably sounds really simple, but it's things like having colours on my walls that appeal to me, pieces of art, just generally having the place set up in a way that's pleasing to me. And I think, again, most people will identify with that to some sense, even if it's not the aesthetic of your home. It's the fact that you have a home, that you're comfortable, that you go back to. It's your security. So those 3 things, comfortable, healthy, happy. I suppose I want to ask you, Jamie, what's your comfortable, healthy and happy?
I suppose, as you've said, everybody's elements of this are very, very different, and we all come from different backgrounds. And I suppose I've always been a worker, so I always have come from that. If I can find something that I love to do in work, that's such a huge part of my life. And I'm presuming this will be the same with artists as well, is that we can all access something that we love, and if we can make a living out of something that we love, then it takes the burden of income and things like that away, because you enjoy what you do. So owning my own picture framers brings me a lot of joy, and I love going out walking at the weekend. That's my kind of outdoor activities. I like going down to the beach, and I just like going for nice long walks.
So I suppose we've got lots of things that are slightly different, but it's all quite common, isn't it? It's the human thing in that we want certain things, and our happiness and our health and our comfort comes from, although slightly different things, generally they're in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
On a note of well-being, I suppose we have to do that dreaded bit about coping strategies, and we all have them. Anybody that says they don't, or should I say anybody that says they don't have negative coping strategies, is telling fibs. So particularly in times of crisis, like we're all experiencing during this pandemic, we have coping strategies. So a lot of people would normally have a coping strategy of socialising with friends, going for a meal, these kind of things. But that's been taken away by the lockdown, which has been really difficult for people. So people then possibly turn what was a positive coping strategy into a negative one. So you might find that people overeat at home, drink more alcohol than they would normally like to, and that's not demonising anybody's coping strategies, because we all have them. It's about recognising what are our positive coping strategies and what are our negative coping strategies, and not allowing those negative coping strategies to become an issue, like an addiction.
Yeah.
So that's that kind of disclaimer, but I'm sure you all know about that. And, you know, as well-rounded human beings, we stray into the negatives sometimes, don't we? But
the natural.
It's about recognising that it's not the best coping strategy. And that wee bit about resilience. So well-being and resilience is being able to manage in difficult times. So right now, a lot of people are showing a lot of resilience. So they've had their normal coping strategies taken away quite forcibly, some people feel, and I understand why they feel that. So the things they used to do to keep them going are no longer available to them. So people aren't feeling as resilient as they usually are, but that links into well-being, because if we have the, you know, this feeling of well-being within ourselves, we are more resilient to these really difficult things that go on. I don't think any of us have ever faced anything like a pandemic before, and I say that as a nurse and as a human being, you know, and I hope none of us will have anything like this in our lifetime again. So this has been a massive thing.
Yeah.
And I think people sometimes don't recognise how well they are coping, because the resilience that people have is what's carrying people through. Something, you know, as a nurse, I've been amazed at on a kind of a global scale is people's support for key workers.
Yeah.
That's a massive, you know, show of resilience by the general public, despite all these really difficult things going on. They've got health issues, so that's the physical kind of health issues. It's also the mental health issues that go along with all this. They've got money worries. They've kind of had their liberties removed and their freedom removed. Despite all these really difficult things, people are still standing out and doing things for other people.
I suppose that's
so that
nature, you know, we do want to support one another, and, you know, there's definitely a collectivism feeling here where we can all try and support one another. We're all in this technically together, you know.
Absolutely. And it's for people to recognise that that is a massive resilience people are showing. People are struggling, but they're not broken. People are not at a point where, you know, they're not thinking about other people.
Yeah.
And it's a really nice part of the community. And I think people should really, as much as we recognise when things aren't going great in terms of our well-being, it's also important to point out when it is going really well. And this clap for key workers is such a massive symbol of things going well for people, people are still thinking of others.
Yeah.
So it's probably helpful to have a chat about what I call the 5 steps to well-being. So if you think about it as 5 pillars, and I quite like the analogy of pillars because it's things that prop us up, isn't it? Things that keep us going. So the first one is connect, and that's connecting with other human beings. Or for some people, it's connecting with animals, it's connecting with something else that's meaningful to them. And the great thing about connecting with people is that not only do you have the opportunity to get emotional support from other people when you connect with them, it also gives you the opportunity to support them, which is really important because we're social creatures, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's really important that not only do we do the kind of taking from others, that we do the giving as well. So not to chat too much about that, other than to say it's the connecting with other people or animals or plants or whatever your chosen kind of being is that it does give you a sense of belonging and it gives you a sense of self-worth. The self-worth links into that bit about having the opportunity to support other people.
I think that's a big part of why we've done this, you know, to support our members and to just make sure that they know that we're here for them and want to support them, and we're all in the same boat and we all want to be there and be supportive.
Absolutely. And it's really important that people do hear that. And I sometimes think that the simple things get lost.
Yeah.
So we can sometimes aim really high about having these really complex discussions and these big, massive, and I'm guilty of it as a nurse when I'm thinking about how to work out treatment plans with patients. Sometimes you think about this really big, complex idea, and it doesn't have to be. It can just be that saying things out loud, reminding people of the things that we know, and reconnect with people.
Yeah.
So one of the tips that I thought about, and again, this might be not entirely to your taste, but I thought about giving a tip that is relevant to that pillar of connect.
Mm-hmm.
What can you do practically that will give you this sense, this part of your well-being? So, and this is an interesting one because we all like to think that we're these really good listeners, but sometimes we're actually not. So the tip for connecting to other people is ask someone's opinion on something and really listen to the answer. And I know we do listen, but do we really hear what that person is saying? Or are we asking something like an opinion in order just to facilitate our own opinion being heard? So that's a top tip. And as a nurse as well, I have to remind myself, you know, it's something really basic, but it's something really important, and it does give that connection, because when we feel we understand people and that we're understood by other people, we do really connect.
This is what I found quite fascinating about by going digital. With having multiple people on a screen, you can see everybody at once and you can see everybody's reactions, but it's really difficult to hear each other above one another. So people take their turn to speak and you have a chance to digest that and listen to it before you make a response, because somebody else might be speaking in front of you. So it's quite interesting that you're saying that, you know, connect and listen are really important parts of this. And I think that going digital has had a benefit to that.
Absolutely. And technology is a great thing. And all these, I mean, if you think about, if we didn't have all these advances in technology and the way we can connect to our communities, you and I wouldn't be able to do this right now.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
we're in a lockdown, we can't travel. I mean, I suppose we could have done something really basic. I don't know, I never done this years and years ago. So I don't know whether you would record on a phone or what you would do. But connecting is much easier with people. But it's the quality of that connection, as you're talking about, you know, not just waiting for your cue to say something, actually hearing what somebody's saying.
Yeah.
And it is interesting because I think this pandemic and the lockdown situation we're in is going to really make us think about other mediums to connect with people. And maybe we're unsure of this one just now, and we might feel these kind of things are quite cold.
Yeah.
Because we're not getting that human thing. But maybe this is where we advance, and we actually support groups of people who have maybe felt quite marginalised for quite a long time. So this is just you and I just now feeling a bit disconnected because we've not got that human contact one-to-one. There's so many groups, and I would imagine within, you know, your art community, there's lots of people who are lone workers. Yeah, and you know, if you and I are feeling like this just now, people have been living in a kind of lockdown for whatever reason, whether that be their job, the way they do their work, self-employed. You know, maybe this is going to make a change for our future, to really start thinking about, you know, this might be the medium we have to use for a lot of things, and how do we make it more meaningful? How do we make it matter to us? How do we connect with other people? The second pillar to well-being is being active. So we all know the basics of being active is that it actually causes chemical changes in your brain, which can boost your mood. And it also allows you to make achievable goals. So you might not have been particularly active at the start of, you know, this pandemic and the lockdown, but you've been aiming to have one active activity, getting your body moving, getting your blood flowing. So making a kind of goal within that is that maybe you want to increase that when the lockdown's done. So that adds to your pillar of the being active and the healthy part of your body, but also to that part of you that wants to feel some achievement. So one of the tips that I looked at, particularly for someone like myself who isn't a particularly sporty or active person, is to do some easy exercises like stretches when you wake up in the morning. The third pillar to well-being is learning. I think this will resonate with us all, particularly because of the lockdown. So a lot of people have used this as an opportunity to learn a new skill, a hobby. Even this for me, this is something new for me. I've not done something like this before, so it was an opportunity for me to learn something new. It might not be massive on paper. You don't need to do something that leads to a qualification. Just doing something new. Doing something new or learning something new helps build a sense of purpose, which is quite meaningful to people, I think, just now, because a lot of people have lost their routine because they're not going to work, they're not following the patterns that they used to. So getting up in the morning, maybe taking part in one of these online courses. There's loads of great ones out there just now. I know a lot of people have been taking advantage of the British Sign Language, learning how to do that, or learning Makaton. So these things are really beneficial, and you can see why it builds a sense of purpose. And also learning something new boosts your self-confidence, because it reminds you that, you know, you might be near the end of your career, you might be at the start of your career, you might even have retired or be working part-time, but you still have that ability to learn something new. So a tip for the learn part is research something you've always been curious about. That could be something quite serious, or it could be something like what I done myself the other night, which was to research why dogs yawn. So I'm assuming you all know this part about the reason why you yawn when you see somebody else yawn. It's almost like it's contagious. So I was curious to know, did that also happen with dogs? Apparently it does, which I found really interesting. Nothing huge for the grand scheme of things. You know, we're in a pandemic and I'm a nurse. Maybe I could have been researching something, you know, to do with my role. But that's not what the learn thing's about. It's about doing something that makes you feel good and quelling one of your curiosities. The fourth part, or the fourth pillar, is giving. So giving's about exactly what it says, giving back. And maybe this is a bit kind of cliche, but I feel that's what I'm doing a bit of just now. it's not my comfort zone doing this kind of thing. My skills in connecting with people as a nurse are normally based around being face to face, picking up body language, but I know that people are having to reach out and learn things and learn about themselves in different mediums now. So I've pushed myself to do a bit of kind of giving back to people, and also giving a wee bit back to, I find this really interesting. So when we were first talking about this kind of support for artists and things like that, it was interesting to me that part of my well-being as a human being is having nice things around me. And that's normally, you know, in the form of art. Whether you like the art that I like or not, that's not really what the point is. The point is that I have art around me, and it contributes to my happiness and my comfortableness in my home. And it was interesting when we were chatting about this that maybe artists aren't getting that in the same way that, you know, that's their creativity, their job, however, I don't know what the lingo is for it, your purpose, whatever you want to call it. So it was interesting for me to give something back, which is my job, which is a wee bit about mental health and well-being, in place of the fact that I'm getting a lot just now from the art that's on my walls and all around me.
By being at home, you know, you're spending a lot more time looking at the four walls around you, and we're all very fortunate that we can see beautiful work, and a lot of our members will have been selling through the Artist Support Pledge, which is a really fantastic opportunity to sell your work, and once you've earned over £1,000, you should buy another artist's work. So there's this kind of cycle of a community of how people can support one another, and it's really nice to see that artists are doing that from the base and they're enjoying other people's work at the same time. So I completely understand where you come from with that.
Absolutely. And it sounds something really basic, but it's so integral to what we're doing just now and what we're experiencing. So not only does the giving back, you know, it makes us feel good, it creates positive feelings within ourselves, but it also helps us connect with the community around us. So exactly as we've said there, the community that I'm connecting with is the artistic community. To do a wee bit of giving back, because I'm looking around me just now. In fact, I'm looking at right now a really beautiful piece that I have on my wall, and I've always appreciated it, but I'm appreciating it even more just now when I'm not seeing as many beautiful things as I would like to in my life. So a wee tip for giving, and again, you've kind of talked about it, haven't you? There's a perfect example of giving, is your Artist Support Pledge, is doing that wee bit. So supporting yourself, but giving back to other people by sharing your art. So the fifth pillar is notice or mindfulness. Noticing the world around you is about connecting with the here and now. So not dwelling on what happened yesterday or what stress might lay ahead tomorrow. And I can identify with this, particularly with the job I do at the moment. I could worry about or really focus, ruminate on something I said yesterday that actually I could have said in a better way, or a kinder way, or a more sensitive way. Or I could be thinking about, I'm going back to work tomorrow. Oh, I wonder what will happen when I get there. Noticing the world around you is about being here and now. So right now I'm sitting comfortably in a chair in my home, which I really appreciate, surrounded by really nice things that make me feel happy, with my dog sitting at the side of me, remembering that those things are the here and now. Difficult things have happened and are going to happen, but right now I feel something that's important to me. I feel well, I feel balanced, I feel like I have good things around me. The noticing the here and now and the mindfulness, it helps you enjoy your life more. Because we get really caught up in what has happened or what might happen. And it's horrible sometimes. But remember, things are good just now. And this idea of noticing things, it does help you understand yourself better. You know, up till recently, we've all been so caught up in, and in no way am I saying the pandemic's a good thing. It's absolutely not. But we can take some positive things from it. We can take that people that might not have walked daily and seen grass and seen trees and seen nice things, most of those people are seeing that now, and that's a positive. The fifth pillar of well-being is noticing the world around you. Some people like to call it mindfulness. Noticing, connecting with the here and now, not focusing on what happened this morning or what might happen tomorrow, being really here where you are. For example, I'm sitting in a comfortable chair just now. I'm surrounded by nice colours, nice pieces of art, and I don't know if you can hear my dog's just footering about at the bottom of my chair. I'm remembering that those things are what I'm experiencing and that I'm enjoying. And being mindful, it lets you appreciate the important things in your life. We live in this really modern society where we have these great opportunities that we wouldn't have had 10, 20, 30 years ago, but maybe we've forgot a wee bit about who we are and trying to understand ourselves. And noticing the world around you does help you understand yourself, understand what's important to you, understand that human part of you that sometimes gets hidden by the modern world.
I mean, on my daily walks, I've noticed a lot more of the surroundings, you know, not having cars zooming past and people just wandering past you really allows you to see what's around you. And seeing the architecture in Edinburgh has just been something that I've really enjoyed over the past 6 weeks, just really looking deeper at what's actually around me.
Isn't it amazing? All these things that we've just not paid attention to because we're wrapped up in the hustle bustle of life. And now we're seeing things as they are, and just hopefully moving forward, we don't forget those things again. I know something that I'm appreciating just now is hearing natural sounds. Now, I live in a town centre, so I'm used to things being busy, cars, all these noises that I didn't even know exactly what they were. All I knew was that they were around me and they were loud. So hearing birds, that sounds really cheesy, doesn't it? But hearing those things and being reminded that even living in a city centre, I have these things going on around me. I've just not been experiencing them for a while. So a top tip for noticing the world around you, or mindfulness, is walk a different route. Don't go into autopilot. Don't do that. I walk this route and it's for 20 minutes every day, or it's for half an hour every day. Change it a bit. Walk a different route. See what you see what you smell, see what you hear. The final part is the resources that are available to us. So we've had a really good look at what wellbeing is and about the pillars of wellbeing and what keeps us propped up as human beings. Another important thing to think about is the actual resources. Now, this is a very personal thing. I've had a real long, hard look at all these resources. You need to do that yourself. So I've really cut them down. There's lots of things about self-assessing your moods, mindfulness, there's some breathing and relaxation exercises, there's anxiety management, there's men's health forums, there's even a website about, you know, what should you do if you think someone else in your circle of people is depressed. There's also a website about how to feel happier, and again, that sounds quite kind of blasé, how to feel happier, but when we break it down, lots of the things that we spoke about in terms of well-being contribute to us feeling happier. So I know Jamie is going to put links to all these websites and resources in the comments, I think. Peruse them at your leisure. Have a look at them. They might not be your thing, because remember, something may be very valuable, but if it doesn't speak to you and who you are, it's it's not going to engage you in what it wants to do. So I've gave lots of options of things you can look at. Also, interestingly, the Scottish Government, NHS Inform, have self-help guides. And again, it's either for you or it's not. Have a read, have a look, see what you think. If you think it's something that's going to benefit you or somebody you know, pass it on. This is another good thing about what's going on just now. We're encouraged to have these conversations. We're encouraged to place value on these things like wellbeing, which we have all had in the background, but this is really, it's an excellent opportunity to look at these things. Look at the people around you. Do other people need a bit of support? They're all really good and they're all evidence-based as well, which is really important that, you know, these approaches might not be helpful to everyone, but they are based on good evidence. Another thing I should probably say is, if you're in crisis, you need to contact NHS 24. So that's 111, and that's in an emergency. So if you're in crisis because of what you've heard today or anything else that's happened, please contact NHS 24. There's another organisation which are really good called Breathing Space, and I'm going to give you their number and they'll be able to talk you through any real difficulties you have. And their number is 0800 838587. But also remember, your GP's around. Your GP, they're not particularly busy just now, and that's not a negative thing. They have lots of time to be speaking to people on the phone. So if you are concerned about your mental state or your mental health, contact your GP. They'll be more than happy to speak to you. But if it is an emergency, contact NHS 24. So I think I'll wrap it up there. Thank you very much for having me, and I hope some of what we've had a chat about today has been helpful.
That's been great. Thank you very much. All the information that you've given is really useful and quite accessible for most people. So we will put all the information on the link below and have a look at your own time. If you wish to learn more about the SSA, please visit www.s-s-a.org, where you can see more information regarding our programme.